Welcome back to the Journey Home. I'm Marcus Grodi, your host. Our guest tonight is Mark Aberett, and former Southern Baptist, Disciples of Christ. We haven't hit the Methodist stage yet, right?
That's about to start.
But you were introduced to the early church fathers.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good place to stop because a lot of people, that's the start of the journey.
Right. And so, yes, we got introduced to the early church fathers, and we had to pick one and write a paper about him. I picked St. Gregory Nazianzen, one of the champions against the Arian heresy, and a great writer about Our Lady. And I was reading the writings of your church fathers, and I didn't know that much about the Catholic Church yet. I knew enough. I'm reading this and said, man, these guys sound awfully Catholic. And again, at the time, that didn't make me think, okay, I got to become a Catholic. But looking back, I definitely see the influence. Again, just kind of like Vespers at Gethsemane Abbey. Like, there's other possibilities out there, and I wasn't quite ready to go intently looking, but it was still a big nudge, probably the first big nudge in that direction.
Yeah, in your more liberal environment where they're saying, okay, this is history, this is what happened, decide for yourself. That was just one of the things that happened in history. Whether you take it seriously now is a different issue or not.
But I guess, and again, subconsciously, I guess, because I had been trying to be objective, listening to where these guys were coming from, and they were so challenging so many things that I thought were central to the Christian faith, Then to hear these very ancient church leaders affirming those things that are so central to the Christian faith, fighting for them, giving their lives for them,
Especially
really.
Our Lady, I'm wondering, well, how did that affect you at the time with his?
Well, not really, not at the time, not much, and I never really I didn't know enough about what Catholics thought about Mary for that really be a big issue for me at the time,
Okay.
But in terms of, okay, if everything's up for grabs, but then here's these guys way back there at the very beginning, and they're saying those things. So it was probably, I didn't have any concept of sacred tradition at the time, but it kind of made me, it was sacred tradition. It made me think, okay, well, maybe there's a source outside of sacred scripture, or alongside of sacred scripture, I should probably say, that would help with deciding, okay, what's the right interpretation and what isn't. Didn't really realize that at a conscious level at the time, but it was a seed that was planted, So about after a year, like I said, the Lord told me to leave, and I came out of there again, pretty much where I had started on those core orthodox issues of Christianity that all Christians hold in common to truly be called Christian. But I gained some things like introduction to those other 1,500 years that Protestants never talk about outside of seminary. and sometimes even then don't talk about them a whole lot. And also the social teaching or implications of the gospel, which of course they were very big on. There were some big fans of the whole liberation theology movement at that seminary and inclusive language. Because the disciples were also, I think, the first denomination to ordain women.